Hi, I'm Andy Bache. I direct Adventure Serve Ministries, and I am living in a shack for 5 days, living with less so that others might have more, as well as just better representing kind of a visual of homelessness and substandard housing. Adventure Serve Ministries connects with folks that experience homelessness and substandard housing through our Mystery Trip summer programs. It's a program that serves various partner agencies as well. We work with a home repair program, repairing homes in need. And oftentimes we are looking for partners who also know clients that have needs in their home. And so I want to just introduce you to Leann Prout of Habitat for Humanity, and she's going to tell us a little bit about who she is and what she does and how long she's been doing it.
Yes, so like you said, I'm the director here in Jessamine, and I have the privilege of also serving down in Garrett County. I have been with Habitat. I just started my 9th year, which is crazy. I've been here in Kentucky
Wow.
for 4 of those 9. Was with an affiliate up in Michigan before that. So have kind of walked the Habitat walk for a while, but am excited to find friends like Andy and different organizations to partner with. Yes, we do a lot of repairs as well. That's the majority of our service here in these communities. But I'm excited to share a little bit more about what that looks like.
Talk about how we've connected.
Yes, so here locally we do anywhere between 3 to really 12 at one point repairs throughout the year, and we have been given referrals from Adventure Serve with people here locally. We served a beautiful woman in Highbridge, and we were able to kind of fix up her location and her home so that she could one day move back into her place, and that was because of Adventure Served. Actually, and I don't know if you know this, but we have shared some construction leads. When we partner with GCF, there was a guy that also works with y'all, and he led one of our construction sites here in Wilmore, which was amazing.
Awesome.
That was another great partnership. But we have an opportunity to go back and forth and share different individuals and families that need some home repairs and assistance here in our community. So.
Yeah, I think that, similarly, we're doing similar things, meeting the needs of folks who have some type of substandard issue, whether or not, their home needs safe access, or maybe someone's recently become handicapped and they need a handicap ramp, or maybe there's a leak on the roof, or better windows, or whatever it might be. And yet we're dependent on volunteers showing up at the right time to address that need, and resources, dollars to pay for the materials to fix that need. And I think just due to our different annual rhythms, we're a little bit more focused on the summer months, and you've got some fall and spring programs. We're able to pass back and forth clients that maybe we've been able to do something for, or maybe we can't this season. Would you guys like to? And it's just important for homeowners to have another resource to contact. And also, I think you and I were talking a little bit about this just before we started the video, of just like how to help comprehensively and yet recognize the limits of our own organization, and the necessity to look around and go, okay, who's doing something similar, and how can we partner? And
I always tell people, other habitats around the state, and even other entities, we have to work together. Why reinvent the wheel when there's already someone doing it? We all have this passion to see housing become a priority in people's worlds. So why not partner? It just makes sense to do. So.
Tell me, where, I imagine, just being with the larger Habitat for Humanity, that is a huge organization that is always cranking out good work as well as good study, and But where do you see this issue of substandard housing on a national level and then also on a county level or a state level?
Yeah. So
how concerning is it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely concerning, and it's only going to be ever increasing, the need for housing, because, I mean, just nationally, our population's increasing, our land's not increasing. So land acquisition is a huge deal. Governing policies from top down is a huge deal. Money for housing at the national level is decreasing ever so rapidly. And so when you look as a nation as a whole, it's just baffling to know the amount of resources we have, yet the minute resources that are given to housing. And so it's going to become a community, more of a community issue for dollars and support. So Habitat, globally, we're seeing that. Unfortunately, we have a full governing team that goes to Washington, D.C. every year. They're about to go in February to kind of make known the needs in our communities. But overall, it's our population's increasing, and our aging in place is becoming an issue. So there are so many.
What does that mean?
So aging in place, it's like the baby boomers, those that are wanting to stay in their homes, yet they're not suitable to stay in their home. And so we're seeing that at a national level.
And their home's not suitable
for aging. They don't have grab bars, they don't have ramps, they don't have
handicap ramps.
The access, So that's becoming a huge issue. But here in our community, one of the biggest things I see with just the work that I do, I don't do a lot with homelessness. It's more with substandard housing, and it's the issues with landlords. So we see so many landlords that don't take care of their properties because they say the tenants don't take care of the property. So it's this horrible cycle of like a he said, she said battle. And I mean, babies are getting sick. People are falling. I mean, it is almost daily that I get a call from a renter saying their landlord's not abiding by the policy or so forth and whatnot. So I think that's one of the biggest issues here. But again, we also are seeing a huge need for repairs with roofs, because they're 20, 30 years old, and people can't afford to replace their roof.
No, they don't have that kind of spare money or that emergency fund. You know, you talk about babies, you know, the health issues of homes that aren't being kept updated and the costs of that, and then you have children, and you know, the Reframe Association defines substandard housing basically as not meeting the necessary criteria for warm, safe, and dry. Just keeping it simple. It could be
overcrowding.
Warm, safe, dry. Overcrowding. It can be issues that aren't, you know, that there's leaks in the house or there's plumbing issues. As well, what I've found interesting as a measurement of substandard housing is that if the cost of your housing is above a certain percentage of 30%, your income, 30%, it is not.
It's not affordable,
adequate. And you know, you say that you don't focus. You know, Habitat doesn't focus on homelessness per se, yet it does by preventing homelessness. You're repairing the homes of people that they live in a home that they own, that they've been in potentially for generations or at least most of their life. And if they cannot stay in that home, if they can't get that home up to grade, they may be homeless.
Absolutely, yes. So that is a huge correlation with that. And also with our homeownership program, we don't accept people that make a certain amount that they can just walk into the bank and get a conventional loan. And so a lot of those people, absolutely, that have been renting for 15 years, and now, you know, the rental market is insane. They literally cannot afford to rent, which then they would become homeless. We have an opportunity to build them a house for, I mean, most of our mortgages are, and this is throughout the state of Kentucky, I mean, they're significantly under $400.
Wow.
And that's their principal and their escrow.
Holy cow.
So you can't
Awesome.
find rental properties
No.
at that cost. So you're right, we do, it's more preventative. We have a huge educational program that goes in with our home ownership side of things. And so, yeah, teaching them how to budget, teaching them what it looks like to repair your home. You have to change your filter, you have to clean your gutters, those things that they may not know, but it could be detrimental in the future. So
How do you do some of that educational work?
So we have technically 12 weeks, but it usually takes longer than that. We have an online portal that we use from Habitat. And then we also partner really closely with Lexington Habitat. I like to say they're like the mothership.
I've
And
met
we just
some of their
tap into
folks.
their
They're great
resources.
people.
No, they're
Yeah.
amazing. And Rachel's a dear friend of mine. And they share their educational side of things, which it's amazing. Yeah.
And that's critical, not just changing their physical atmosphere, but also helping
How they look
to
at
prepare
housing.
them
Correct.
For that, so that they can stay in that home. And
Right.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Are there any obstacles that you've faced in trying to make this work?
Yes. So I think being new here 4 years ago, our affiliate was not in a good place. And so just having that uphill battle of reframing what our mission looks like, what our goal is, that we're here to love and serve our community, and really like shifting people's mindset toward Habitat has been a challenge. But I'm proud to say we're doing a great job. We've touched so many families' lives just in the past 4 years. I have a great board of directors. But I think one of the biggest challenges, probably like every other housing entity, is resources. Not only just monetarily, but with volunteers. I mean, that's how we keep the house at an affordable rate, is through volunteers building them, so we don't subcontract them out. So I think those would be the biggest challenges, with this whole self-help, self-care movement going on. We've seen a decline in volunteerism. I just actually
How does
read
that
an article.
connect with self-help, self-care?
So I just read an article about, when was it, like 3 years ago or something like that, and I'm going to botch this now, I should have brought it. But just that my generation is giving, but the ones that are a little older than me, they are playing this, been there, done that. We've given our time. It's now time to focus on me, which is great. Everyone needs that, but I think we're seeing that as a whole entity across Habitat nationwide. The older volunteers, like the middle-aged volunteers we've left.
For dollars and cents. Like, I mean, I grew up with the sense that, okay, 10% of everything I earn is meant to be given, and I think that's less of an expectation, and part of it is just less of a Christian. I mean, not to blame it on that, but there's a level of if I can give, I will. If there's a surplus, I will.
Which, I mean, we're very blessed, and I hate to even sound negative, but it ties together.
I'm amazed by the generation of retirees out there. That, like, we have a handful of retired folks that they want to continue serving.
Amazing.
And they've got incredible talent still, and they've got skills to pass on to other people. And I mean, the 3 that are out, 4 or 5 that are out helping us, they're just all kinds of energy. And that translates into dollars.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
if their hours were dollars, it's
Absolutely.
it's saving us all kinds of money. But maybe those that are either in school population or working maybe a lesser percentage are also trying to budget a period of time in their week or in their year where they're out there serving?
Yeah, I think monetary donations have gone up, but the actual time is easy write a check, and we love those. And I'm not diminishing that. That's great. But like for us to survive, we need people out there swinging a hammer.
Yeah, it's great to hear that Habitat in Jessamine County is doing so well. My sister-in-law did marketing out of Atlanta. She was at the main office.
Awesome.
And it's a great organization. But I see it in some ways sort of like Boy Scouts, where depending on the chapter and the troop, it's really decentralized, right? And so you can go into one neighborhood and find a fabulous scout troop, and then another that you send your kid to, and there's not as much activity going on. And so you really have to build up what is this community chapter of Habitat doing, and good for you to have. I think you've done an excellent job with board development and
my board is amazing.
Yeah,
they're incredible. I mean, I tell them frequently, because it's just me, you know, to have people willing to be a working board and a governing board. I mean, it's so rare to find people who are willing to put their money where their mouth is, come out and swing a hammer, and impact the community, not just from sitting around a table. So I am so blessed by my board. They're just incredible.
So tell me about some successes that you've seen in this last year or two. Or?
Yeah. So we have, the past 2 years, we've been able to serve just in Jessamine County, 10 different families, and that's through our repairs program, and that was in close partnership with Thrivent Financial.
Okay.
And that was everything from major repairs to kitchens and bathrooms to ramps and grab bars, gutters.
Wow. And you just kind of latch into one family and you invest in them for a period of time.
Yep. Our numbers are smaller just because we don't have staff like some affiliates.
Right, but you also want to do some comprehensive, it's not...
Absolutely. So we do a lot of...
So you, a less amount, do more for those 10 families. Yeah.
Correct. So lots of education behind it, lots of just like raw family partnership, from them venting about their children going to school to what does it look like to cook in a substandard kitchen, you know, those type of things we do a lot of, and we do a ton of advocacy work. So, and that's more with the renter landlord side of things. I've written quite a few letters for different people, stating different regulations and laws that are in place for protection on both sides. Habitat has a huge, like I said earlier, governance side of it, and that's from Habitat International. That's a huge passion of theirs to start being policy changers. And so I've been trying to educate myself really the past year or so on what that looks like here, and grow as an individual so that I can be a voice for those people that don't have a voice.
Tell me a little bit more about that, because with Adventure Serve, we specifically choose homeowners because you know, sometimes when you repair a home that someone's renting, then the landlord might increase the rent.
Absolutely.
Or that homeowner may be in a situation where they're in transition and 3 months later they move out, and so we wanted to help that person.
So our repairs is only home ownership as well.
Okay.
But the advocacy side is is the renter side of things.
Okay. And what does that look like?
Yeah. So one case, we had a lady here in our community, and her ceiling caved in, and she was in an apartment complex.
Wow.
And it did a lot of damage to her stuff, but she didn't have renter's insurance.
Yeah.
Most people don't, yet when she went to go ask for support and help, it wasn't given. And so we were able to write a letter to the head company who owned this facility, and she was able to get a fraction, but without us writing that letter stating you know, this is what her contract states.
Wow.
And this has nothing to do with her inability
so it's
or
like
ability.
legal assistance
Correct.
for them to
Right.
get what their rental
Right.
agreement should
Right.
allow them to get and what state law
Right.
allows them
Well,
to
because
get.
a lot of them, they don't even read. I mean, like us, like I'll sign, like
Read
at the
a
doctor,
contract,
I'll just
sure.
sign it
Yep.
without even reading every
Yep.
tiny word. And so they don't even know what their rights are. And so we have so many that fall into situations, and landlords then, you know, who don't know the whole policy on, you know, getting their stuff out of the place and,
Yeah.
you know, kicking people out, and what does it look like to properly
Evict.
yeah. And so there's just a lot of education around that I'm doing for myself, and also that I'm able to give different families in
That
need.
is so encouraging because, I mean, I think it's very necessary and to care for folks that are living in homes that need upgrades in order to meet standards, in order to be warm, safe, dry.
Mm-hmm.
Yet there are many people that are even worse off, that they don't own a home
Right.
and they're renting, and they're in a situation, a landlord situation
Right.
that is
Right.
extremely tense or
Right.
difficult or whatnot. Wow.
Right, like we want, it's not even, you know, some people think of Habitat for Humanity, they think of home ownership.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like we don't even, that is a one piece of the puzzle
Yeah.
that we focus on. And I think it's going to become more of a broad spectrum because housing is so diverse and people don't think about that. You know, there's transient housing, there's homelessness, there's rental, there's multi-generational. There's so many different facets to housing. And so, I mean, Habitat, we are morphing into something I never thought we would morph into. Like there's some habitats that rent. So I think just in general, we want to see substandard housing eliminated on the face of this earth. And so we're in almost every country across the world. And what does that look like? For some, it may be renting. For some, it may be owning a home. And so shifting our conversation around housing as an entire entity, not just at home ownership, I think it's important.
Yeah. I want to hear quickly about a project that Joe Brunner mentioned, one of your board members, that you've got dollars and a plan to build a home here in Jessamine County. You're just waiting on land. Is that correct?
Correct. So we have, by the incredible individuals and businesses in this community, we have money in the bank, which it's been a long time coming. And so we have been able to raise enough funds to literally build fully funded a house for a family in need. We have a family. She has just moved forward last week in the process, and so we are so thankful because that's another piece. It's hard to find qualified homeowners. So we have a family, we have the dollars, we don't have land. And so we would love to stay in the city of Nicholasville just for this family. So we're not actually like uprooting them from the kids from the schools and work. But we're open to places, you know, if it is outside of Nicholasville. But yeah, we literally need a lot. And it could be a lot that already has an existing home on it, because we have a great partnership with someone who would take care of that for us. Or a lot, or multiple lots, so we can do future builds. But that's our greatest need.
Wow.
Land acquisition is a huge need here.
I bet. For folks watching, how would you advise them? What kind of things would you get them thinking about or actually doing in order to be part of the solution?
I think the biggest thing is include housing in your conversations. So many don't even think about how their neighbors live. So many don't think about those that are sitting on the corner in a shack or on a bench. And so opening our eyes to see people like Jesus sees people is hard, and it's a life change. But I just encourage everybody to do that. And then find ways to partner with different entities. You know, if it's Adventure Served or Revive or other places that serve those people, I feel like we're all called to do something. And so it may not be, you know, swinging a hammer or doing counseling with somebody, but it could just be having a conversation with them and stopping what you're doing and recognizing them as an individual, as a person, as a creation of the Lord, and just being a glimpse of hope for people. So
I love that, to include housing into our conversations, whether that be verbally or just be conceptually considering people's housing situation, and how to. I like that. And I don't know. I'm trying to attach it to some scriptural concepts, but the idea of Jesus seeing them and considering where do they lay at night, where, how are they provided for, and you know, birds are there and are cared for, and how do we be part of God's redemption, caring for the least of these. Well, this conversation's been brought to you by Barber Law up in Lexington, Kent Barber at Barber Law, and David Bush of Bush Contracting, or DB Contracting, that have helped make the Shack conversations happen. And please consider checking out Good Giving and helping us with the Good Giving Challenge this week, bg.gives. Thank you so much, Leann.
yes, thank you.